Hi, welcome to the new session. This session is going to be about modern HR dimensions. You will learn what are those modern dimensions that you need to apply in your professional life. And then I will also bring some of the examples from different companies, especially from General Electric, and also the some discussion, some points of Jack Welch, the ex-CEO of General Electric. And then I will let you know that how you can relate these dimensions in your professional life in modern organizations. But first, have a look. What are those modern HR dimensions that you need to uh, comprehend so that you can have some skills and utilize them to improve the productivity of your company and also improve your own professional career. So here we go. The first one, if you see from the human resource point of view, employee retention and satisfaction. This is the one of the dimension that whole organization is based on. This is kind of foundation that we have to maintain employee retention and satisfaction. Now, in quite a few times, we might have talked about employee retention, why employees do not stay in the company, why people are not happy, why their satisfaction is down. So there are simple formula. There are different variety of formulas you might have heard about the employee retention and satisfaction. But one of the formula is that you need to talk to them and find out if they have any concern, if they have any issues and everything. But if you don't talk to them, you will never come to know what is their um, issue, what is their concern. So one of the dimension is employee retention, and from HR point of view, this is the foremost dimension that they have to maintain positively. Now it's a long story that how you will go ahead with the satisfaction. There might be some salary, there might be some benefits, might be perks, might be dealing, might be reputation of the company, maybe your financial constraints, maybe different other things you can think of. But there are the ways that you can make your employees happy, and that's only possible when you try to work on this particular dimension. So this is one dimension that you have to focus on how you will work on that. If you see from professional point of view, point number second is employee attitude and behavior. This is one of the dimensions that HR supposed to explore. What are the attitude levels of those employees in the company? When I say positive attitude is something that you have to accept everything with pleasure, with happiness. You gotta work, you work in any way. What is the point of not accepting this one, or what's the point making faces and you accept that work with displeasure and all that? That will never help employees. And this is only possible when you show good spark, when you show good attitude to employees, and then employees are going to come back with the same attitude to you. So from HR point of view is that you have to maintain your positive attitude towards employees. You have to maintain positive behavior towards your employees. And of course, you got a policies and everything which you have to make all people understand and make them follow that. They will follow. But you have to use this employee retention and satisfaction so that people employee retention satisfaction, people are happy, but they can only be happy with the second point when you have proper attitude. Now, from your professional point of view, from professional life point of view, if you want to be successful in your professional life, maybe I have mentioned somewhere, you have to learn the art of dealing with people. You have to learn the art of respecting people. You have to learn the art of to earn positive attitude from the people. And that's possible when you present yourself in the best, most positive attitude in the company. So the second dimension is this one, that the HR dimensions from professional point of view, personal, as I gave you an example right now, but from HR point of view, you have to maintain a good create. So I mean, create kind of culture, a fair feeling approach in the organization. People may hire you. And number third is right time to hire and recruitment costs. Now, the third dimension is from exactly human resource point of view, is that what is the time to hire when you hire? Have you planned that every year you have this hiring happens? But on what basis that hiring will happen? Do you have an idea what's your company? How many people are leaving your company? Do you have plans that you want to leave your company? There might be some of the things become redundant in any of the job task. So you don't need that people. You'll be planning to ask them to leave. What is the right time to hire and what are the recruitment costs? Do you think that you need people, loads of people to hire? Do you have that money? You have that cost? Can your company afford that? So it's a real time to hire and recruitment costs can happen when you have much focus and the plan of whole organization. So this is the third dimension, right time to hire and recruitment costs. And the fourth dimension, which is very popular, is the training costs and effectiveness. So if your company can afford the training for loads of people, you have provided them training. Have you attached the effectiveness of that particular training that you provided to the people? Did you enhance the productivity of your company? Did you achieve the objectives of the company? Did you relate that strategies with the employees training to the organizational goals? How did you manage that? What you have done into these all activities? So training cost and effectiveness is another dimension of human resource management. And the next one is controlling turnover, absenteeism. Why people absent from the work, why people are leaving and coming, and all that. These are all the factors which we have talked about in the first one, how to retain. But one of the factor that implies you can't control the turnover over there because you have not created that kind of great culture or working culture or career development culture or positive culture or growth culture or a fair feeling culture or productivity of your company. There might be other factors, but one of the factors is that when your company is going down, of course people got to go that. But you have to, there are some of the companies, even they go down, but some people is intact with that. And that goes with the behavior of human resource management. That goes with the proper dealing, managing effectively those all people, and they can control such a turnover. But there are a variety of things of turnover which is not your fault, and which is not HR fault, and which is not your fault as an individual, because maybe you're just leaving out from the area. You are going somewhere else, or maybe because of your family, maybe because of your other reasons, your preferences. That will happen. But you have to make your company good. You have to make your company qualitative, and giving good rewards and good behavior to those all people, so maybe you can achieve something to control that turnover. And then we have employee productivity, the efforts they put for the company's objectives. So if they have put the positive efforts, great efforts for the company. So what's employee productivity? How much work they do, how much the task they produce, and what the work they have done, how much company got the benefit from their productivity. So employee productivity is very good, and that leads to the organizational productivity. Workforce diversity and motivation. This is one of the dimension. If you really want your company to be successful and you want a variety of skills in your company, that you have to maintain the diversity. When you talk about diversity, is that you're hiring different nationalities, different people, different, I mean, people with different education, people with different approach, people with different knowledge, people different leadership skills, people different approaches, people different attitudes, people different opinions, people different experiences, people different exposures. All of those things come under the category of diversity. And if you put that one, people are learning from each other. So that's one of the motivational level. People learning from from one another, from each other, and they want to stay in that company to learn more. And they have created sort of cordial atmosphere, having loads of different nationalities and having different experience to learn. So that's one of the diversity and motivation dimension. And the second last, if you see, which is very common, we talked about these days, work-life balance and flexibility models. Most of the top companies, they have already gone through this flexibility model, and they have applied in their activities. And if you work in any company, if you see some of the employees are not being retained in your company and they're not having satisfaction, you ask them what is their concern. If they have any concern like about the flexibility or something, so you try to adjust with them all. And if you adjust them, it might possible that the employees stay, employees happy, employees will not leave your company. You'll control the turnover, and their productivity will also be good because you motivate those people in that way. So work-life balance and flexibility models are being adopted by lots of companies. And one of the dimension of human resource management to be good with employees or to utilize employees good is actually employee engagement and collaboration. So when you say employee engagement and collaboration, they feel connected, they feel part of the company, they feel like they are in safer hands in the company, they are in good hands in the company, that they are being taken care, and they are being known, or they are being heard, they're being contributed, so that they love to be part of that company. So employee engagement collaboration is another thing that we have to work on. So these are the basics of modern HR dimension for your learning, because we're talking about professional diploma in A to Z HR skills. So one of these skills which you need to have is modern HR dimension. You need to understand and need to understand those all activities in different HR dimensions. And what are these within these specific things? If I go to the next slide, and you will see this is very common. I have taken from the Jack Welch book, and I have put that reference. It's a very common book you can find on the search engines. That's about the winning, and where this gentleman, Jack Welch, had given these 25 points. And these are the real dimensions in the organization that we need to work, and we need to adopt that one. Quite a few things I have talked about in the previous slide, but these are the things. Like the first one, he said lead. You have to lead people. When we say lead, you got influence on your people. And when you say that you have to influence on your people, why people being influenced by you? Because you got authority, or you got knowledge, you got exposure, you got opinion, you have some charisma that people like you. So you have to lead people from the front, lead people in that way. If you try to manage all of the time, so that's not going to be a good idea, because you will be busy in just managing people. When you just keep managing people, you cannot influence people. You got to influence people to get them work. But if you just managing people, you just tell them what to do, but you have to lead them. You tell them, sometimes they got to tell you. You influence them, and they just turn to be the loyal employees of your company. And there are many factors. I'll just pick a couple points, not all of the points. These points are self-explanatory, but yeah, these are really important points in lead more, manage less. And in lead more, manage less, there is also point number 6, energize others. You have to make people agile. You have to make people energize. You are smiling, your employees are smiling. You are happy, your employees are happy. You are participating in activities, your employees are participating in activities. You are motivated, you're motivating your employees. You are taking care of your own flexible hours. You are giving the same flexible hours to your employees as well. So everybody's happy, life is good, so cool, and people feel like to stay in your company. So when you energize people, you energize to make them to stay in your company. You energize to make them to be loyal to the company. You energize them to make them provide, contribute a greater productivity for your company. And there are many other things which are there in the lead more. But there are other things, if you come down and see build a winning organization. And when we say build a winning organization, we have to create a learning culture, cultivate leaders, creating learning culture. These are the points that top companies have been focusing on, especially some of the government entities. Of course, because the state is responsible for their people. So some of the government companies, they always invest back whatever they earn, invest back to capacity building to enhance the skills of those people. But there are lots of private companies also doing this one because they want their employees to be innovative, to be capable to work there. So that's why they have to create learning environment where people learn from each other, and giving you give them an opportunity so that you cultivate some leaders, you produce some of the leaders. And by the way, how we cultivate leaders? When we try to identify that somebody has a promising career and somebody is much interested, so that person needs a little bit support. So if you're providing a little bit support to that person, investing in that person, giving an opportunity to that person, giving some responsibility to that person, putting some feedback to that person, you are actually preparing some people for the next futuristic leadership roles. You can do that. And of course, these are all things we have talked about. And the same, if I go to the number 16, involve everyone. So normally sometime you have to involve everybody. Most of the time you have to involve everybody. So this is kind of a point that we always talk about, the inclusive organizations in diversity and all that. And of course, there are many points. You can work on this one, but these are the points which I have just mentioned quite a few. I just wanted to bring the 25 lessons from Jack Welch, and these are some of the dimensions which you can apply in your company if you are in the human resource leadership role. And we come in an end to the slide, and these are other general HR leadership dimensions. You can say, these are some of the points which you might have heard about in management classes about the roles of the people of the managers. But one of the role which you as an HR person, plus you can make your people to prep to actually present that role is the second one. That's a spokesperson. A spokesperson is like your representative of your company. When I say spokesperson, a representative of your company, it means that you are all the time towards the side of the company. You are all the time presenting your company in the most positive manner. You're all the time supporting your company. You're happy, you're not happy, but you present company in a positive manner. Most of the time I always talk about this one. If you're not happy in the company, you leave, nobody can stop you. But till the time you're in the company, you have to be for the company. You have to praise your company. You have to have fair feeling, understanding for your company. So that's what we always say. This is one of the best point, spokesperson. The others, there are also many important points into this one. Coach, for example. Of course, you got to be coach. You got to be mentor. You got to be trainer for the employees. But coach is something that you have to keep people in the right direction of the company so that everybody keep putting efforts. Those are really important things. So in this session, we have talked about the dimensions of the human resource management. So in this one, these were the points which I covered, and then I followed by with some examples from the General Electric. And then in the end, I just talked about quite a few points on general HR leadership dimensions that will help you in the organization. So, as always, be a smart professional. learn modern HR dimensions and apply those dimensions so that you can be effective in your role. Thank you. In this way, you have completed the HR dimensions. I look forward to seeing you soon in the next session. Thank you very much.